Nari watched in surprise as her nephew followed her hand seals perfectly, without a single mistake. His dark red eyes intently staring at her movements and capturing them magnificently. She had heard stories about the Sharingan and its power, but now she was seeing it in reality. She launched a small water dragon in his direction, and he replicated her action by launching a smaller version of his own water dragon. The two beasts clashed furiously, but his power over water won as her beast was defeated. Still, she didn't give him any rest by charging in straight for him. Their blades clashed next, and she put in a lot of her strength, yet he parried her blows with ease. He didn't try to overwhelm her, for it was pointless due to her superior strength, but his speed was dangerous. He knew he was smaller, and was using it to his advantage by aiming for her legs and even her sexual organ. Ruthless. Suddenly, he went for her legs, making her jump in the air in reflex. That was when she made the mistake of gazing in his eyes. She froze. Then the next second, a blade was pointed at her heart, and his triumphant grin clearly visible on his face. "I win." "Is that so?" He froze as her voice resonated from behind him, and her sharp blade was pointed at his neck. The Nari in front of him vanished into smoke. "Shadow clone." "Dang it," he cursed, earning a bop on the head. "You did well, but you lack experience. Don't get cocky just because you have the Sharingan, for your enemy will always have their own tricks. And always, make sure you take an enemy's head off on first chance. Limbs and organs can be lost, yet they cannot stop a warrior from fighting. But a head gone would be their end," she warned, removing her kunai from his neck. He turned back to see her soaked from head to toe, her long purple hair completely wet, and her dress hugging tightly to her womanly figure. He blushed and looked away. Nari raised an eyebrow at his reaction, even more when he turned away. "Naruto, what are you doing?" she asked seriously. Well, it's not honorable to, he stuttered, making her grin. Who would have thought the little brat had decency unlike most males of her clan? But his honor was his flaw, and could get him killed. "Have you seen a woman naked?" she inquired, wondering what her brother had trained his boys in. Konoichi had been the death of many great warriors with their seduction. "No, it's gross." She couldn't hold back her laugh on hearing his comments. Such a child. One day he would regret saying such a thing, and say the opposite. Nari was sure about that was for another time. Yet she couldn't resist her chance to tease him more. He was adorable. "Why do you think so?" She could feel him scowl on being prodded further on this uncomfortable topic. So she swatted the deal. "Answer me, and I'll teach you something new," she offered, and he hesitantly turned back, his eyes still on the lake beneath them. The boy loved to learn more. "I don't know, your chest is weird. And Inabi said you don't have..." He blushed, crimson, unable to finish his words despite her generous offer. Narumi smirked but gently patted his head. "Alright, maybe someday you will change your opinion. But always be wary of women, Naruto. They can give life, but they can take it back as well. You're an honorable in that aspect, and I want you to remain the same, for it will prevent you from making any mistakes," she warned. "Yes," he replied, not understanding her full meaning but deciding to follow her advice nonetheless. She saw the afternoon sun shining brightly along with the groan of his stomach as he scratched the back of his head. "Come, we'll have lunch," she offered, as his eyes lit up. "Ramen?" She smacked her forehead at his unhealthy obsession. Izuna had spoiled him limitless in this area. "No, you fool. Something healthy that will allow your body to grow big and strong like Madara. You want that, don't you?" she asked seriously, knowing she always had to link her demands to his benefit or he would protest. Stubborn child. He sighed. "Alright." "Good. After that, we'll have our academic lessons, she grinned. What? Midnight. Sneaking out of the town had always been a fun activity for him. Managing to get past the guards who always boasted that none could enter or leave without their permission made him laugh. The only drawback was that it had made Izuna worried, which was why he didn't do this more often. But his brother was gone, and Naruto was trying to live again. He enjoyed the growing affection Madara showed towards him, and the return of his aunt had started to fill the void in his heart. Nari was kind to him, but quite strict when it came to his training. She was bold and didn't hesitate in making him uncomfortable with her body or her abhorring love of books. He still shuddered on remembering spending his entire afternoon learning about different ninja clans and their histories. Who leaded those clans, their children's name, and what parts of the world they controlled. The information was too much for him to remember, but Nari was adamant that he learn it. When he argued that they had servants to remember such information, she had bonked him so hard that it still hurt. He had fallen in line after that, and she rewarded his cooperation by taking him to eat ice cream with her. He ran through the vast forest, enjoying the feeling of cold air hitting his skin, the sound of leaves rustling, and little animals scurrying away from him made him laugh. This was the true meaning of freedom. Here in the wild, he didn't have to pretend, didn't have to mind his manners, and choose each word carefully. He could say anything, do anything, and it gave him immense joy. His father didn't care where he was, and it would not matter if he was home by morning. Madara was a deep sleeper and always slept in his personal chambers, so there was no chance of his brother discovering him missing from their home. Nari was busy doing some work, and he doubted she would find the need to see him this late at night. Izuna had been the only one who worried and made sure he was in bed most of the times. Naruto stopped his run as the memory of his brother's last breath hit him again. Be happy, little brother. Madara had warned him not to dwell in sorrow too much, and being around Nari helped. Yet, he also missed Izuna's smile, the ramen meals, and long walks across the town. He missed the piggyback rides his brother always offered him despite the frowns that earned him from the other classmen. He fought back the tears and ran fast, uncaring of where he was stepping. Only if he had been faster. Only if he had been stronger. His brother would still be alive. Why had he been so weak? Snap. He yelped in pain as the tree branch beneath his foot broke, sending him tumbling down the small hill. He tried to catch himself and grip hard in order to stop his fall, and felt terror seep into his heart as the deep valley started getting closer and closer. But there was nothing to grab, nothing to stop his descent to death, and his heart stopped when he felt the ground going missing from beneath him. He closed his eyes, not wanting to see himself die a horrible death. It was all so dark and cold as he continued to fall. He didn't know what took over him, but he opened his eyes only to see his life flash before it. All the good and bad times, the memories of his brother, their victories and defeats, tears and joys. Maybe he would see them again soon enough. However, all those thoughts vanished from his mind as in the darkness he saw something. It was distant but growing larger and larger. His eyes widened in horror as he saw something that stopped his heart. The pair of deep red eyes, full of hatred. Smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes, I'll do another long video. Also, comment any other fanfics you want me to read. I want to upload 2 long videos daily on the channel. That is, if you guys could smash that like button and get 1,000 likes. Follow me on Instagram and check out the Discord if you haven't already. Alright, now I'll wait a second until you do that. Just do it, okay? Let's get back into the story. He stared in shock right into the pair of deep red eyes, burning with so much hatred and anger. In that moment, he knew his death would be much more terrible and painful than he originally imagined. Yet, even as his final moments tickled by and he approached closer and closer to the rising from hidden in the dark shadows, bubbling with a monstrous amount of negativity, something within him snapped. You are the blood of dragon. He remembered his father's words to his older brother whenever they encountered something impossible to accomplish. Those words have always excited Inabi and Yashiro, and made Izuna as well as Madara become more bolder. But he had never understood the meaning behind those simple and silly words. Yet, as death came his way, it was those same simple and silly words that gave him strength. A dragon never surrenders. A dragon never bows to anyone. A dragon fights and fights until he defeats his enemies. Grabbing twin sharp kunais from his pouch, he sent them flying towards the nearby rock walls, but not before tying ninja wire on them. For once, he was thankful for Izuna's warning to always be prepared, even if he just went out for a stroll near their clan's border. As the weapons connected, he gripped one end of the strings that made him fly straight towards the nearby rock. When his feet connected to the other hard surface, he was ready, and immediately channeled chakra that made him stick firmly to the surface. He unleashed his Tanto just in time as the creature beneath him growled angrily that sent tremors across the darkened valley. His eyes widened when a massive tail rose from the shadows, aimed right at him. Determined to survive, he sprinted down the rock surface at speeds he never thought himself capable of. Massive chunks of rocks and debris flew over him as the tail shattered the spot where he was previously standing. His enemy was more smart than he originally thought, as it continued lashing out more and more giant tails in an effort to splatter his brain. But he had always been faster than all of his brothers, and despite his wish of seeing his dead brother again, he now realized Madara would be heartbroken if he died. His eldest brother was not bad, even if he had been distant all these years. And Madara had showed that he truly cared about him, and now he wanted to know his eldest and only living brother, to support him, to protect him just as Izuna had protected him. And for that one wish, he would not give up. He would find a way to survive, no matter who or what he would face. Going back up was not possible, for the creature was hell-bent on stopping that possibility. So that left him with only one chance. As the ground neared to his relief, he made a quick jump, narrowly avoiding being smashed to death courtesy of another tail. And he immediately adopted his battle stance and activated his prized dojutsu, glaring at the massive creature. And what he saw both stunned and terrified him. And it seemed he was not the only one to experience those feelings, as the now revealed beast flinched as his terrifying red eyes saw its enemy. Those eyes. Its voice was even more heavy and rumbled across the empty valley as a battle cry. Despite the rising fear in his heart, Naruto gripped his Tanto firmly, glaring down at the massive 9-tailed fox standing in front of him. An Uchiha. If possible, the hate and anger in the monster's eyes increased tenfold as it snarled. "Are you going to attack me again?" asked the boy in an unnerving calm voice. The fox momentarily paused, staring at the little runt, and was surprised when the brat had not tried to flee. Either he was foolish like most kids were, especially those of his mad clan, or he was more bold than Kurama had imagined. "You're not afraid." It was just a statement from the fox, but evoked not a single reaction from the stoic boy. When the monstrous animal glared harder at the insect before him. It was then the child spoke. I am a shinobi. I won't kill you if you let me go, but if you persist, then I will fight you, answered the boy fiercely. The beast laughed. What makes you think a stupid runt like you can even harm or even have a scratch on me? I can crush you in a flash, brat, mocked the fox. Maybe, but I will still fight with all I've got. Why? Asked the fox curiously. Because I don't want to die. The beast again laughed at the pitiful answer expected from a human. Yet the boy's gaze unnerved him, for he neither exploded in anger or even scowled. He stared back at the fox with the same determined gaze, which made the fox curious. Most people would have pissed themselves, fought back, or just tried to run away. This little one had done none of that. You will die, either by my hands or some other moron shinobi out there. Children like you don't survive long in this world, yet you still fight. Why? Asked the fox curiously, momentarily keeping his desire to crush the boy at bay, if only to find his answer. It had been quite a while since another foolish human crossed his path or tried to attack him. My brother would be sad if I died, and I don't want him to be sad again. Not anymore, answered the boy quietly. The fox became silent, staring at the boy with a gaze the little Uchiha could not understand. Just when he thought the beast was about to attack again, it spoke. You are already cursed enough to be born into that mad cult you call a clan. What's worse, you inherited those wretched eyes when I thought I would never see this power again in my life. You think they will make you powerful. All these eyes have ever brought to its wielder is misery and pain. It would actually be a mercy if I killed you here, said the fox frankly. The boy didn't say a word and only pointed his taunta forward, which made the beast scoff. Go, I spare your pitiful life, mocked the fox. Naruto blinked in surprise, knowing that it was probably given a chance in life, in a once in a lifetime chance. Something something this beast would not have given to anyone else. Yet he didn't want to turn his back to the fox, only to be stabbed from behind. The creature must have recognized the look, making it snarl. I am not showing you mercy, stupid boy. Anyone who has ever wielded the Sharingan before never met a good fate. They all die screaming in misery. A day will come when you will wish that I killed you here, warned the fox. We'll see about that, replied Naruto sharply. Huh, you've got some balls. Pretty impressive for a little brat, said the amused fox. I will not tell anyone about this meeting, or the fact that you live here, so close to our borders. You have my word, said Naruto honestly, placing his weapon back in its sheath. When he stared back at the fox, if possible, it seemed even more disappointed than before. Not only do you belong from a mad clan, but you're an even bigger fool with that sense of loyalty and honor that you have towards your clan. Does that make you feel better? Snarled the fox, receiving an icy stare from the boy. Maybe my family is mad, and I am too, but without my loyalty and honor, what is the difference between you and me? I will fight and die for my family, no matter how bad you say they are. What do you fight for? Asked Naruto harshly. The air around them grew thick with hatred and anger as the fox looked down at the ground, hissing fiercely. Go, before I decide to kill you. Naruto didn't need any more warning as he jumped on the rock surface and instantly started running back towards the surface at great speeds. As he continued to run away, He missed the fox staring back at his disappearing form with a heavy frown. Foolish boy.
And today